Hi guys, today we are going to be healing some potatoes that I'm growing in fabric pots. The reason why we heal potatoes as they grow is because the potatoes or tubers will grow along the stems of the potato plant, and we don't want those potatoes or tubers exposed to sunlight. When they are exposed to sunlight, they will turn green because they will produce this poisonous alkaloid called solanine. And if you eat green potatoes, you can get very sick. So once they turn green, they become inedible. Solanine is also found in the plant's leaves, stems, and flowers and acts as a defense mechanism against insect pests, disease, and herbivores. Now, there are two kinds of potatoes, indeterminate and determinate. The determinate type, such as Yukon Gold, will not need healing because the potatoes or tubers grow along where the original potato was planted. The indeterminate type will grow the potatoes along the stems as the plants grow. So those types will most likely be exposed to sunlight. If you decide to grow potatoes in containers, what you want to do first is put some potting soil in your container at the bottom. So about 3 to 4 inches of potting soil. Then you place your potato pieces or potatoes on top of the soil, and then you put another 4 inches of soil on top of your potatoes. And as your potato plants grow, you just keep healing it with about 2 to 4 inches of soil. And you can leave up to about 3 to 6 inches left of the plant that's sticking out. So as you can see, these ones are okay for now, so these don't need healing for another week and a half to 2. I just healed these earlier last week. So when they grow to about 6 to 8 inches, then it's time to heal again, and you just keep healing until you don't have enough space to heal, especially if you're growing in containers. So we'll just keep healing until we reach the top of the container. So before I start healing these potato plants, I'm going to fertilize them first. When you're growing in containers, it's important to feed your soil and your plants at least every 2 to 3 weeks, because when you water, the nutrients seep out. And you can just lightly scratch that in. And as you water, all the nutrients, beneficial microbes and fungi will get washed into the soil. So now we're going to start healing, and I am using coconut coir. So since I'm using coconut coir, I went ahead and fertilized them first because coconut coir doesn't contain any nutrients. And you can also use some hay or straw. Now you can actually use coconut coir as a potting medium, although since it is an inert material, you should mix in at least 25 to 35% compost or worm castings. So I initially planted these potatoes in store-bought potting mix, which already has manure and other organic materials, which provided the plants with enough nutrients for the first few weeks. This little plant won't need any healing today. I just healed it a couple of days ago. Just want to show you how close to the surface the potatoes or tubers grow. Look at that. So initially this potato was planted almost at the bottom of the pot, and I just kept healing it and adding potting mix. So as you can see, they grow pretty close to the surface. So you want to keep your potatoes or tubers covered. That way they do not turn green. So we got these small pots done and those two 15-gallon pots. And I'll get these ones done later today. These are the 30-gallon containers, so these are much bigger, and I have 4 of them. So glad the sun came out. Now I have more time to work outside before it starts to rain again. We get a lot of rain here all year, especially in the springtime. So anyways guys, before I go, I just wanted to talk to you guys about using coconut coir and the benefits of it. First of all, it is a sustainable product. It is the byproduct of the coconut industry, and also you can reuse it as a potting medium. So after you're done using them in your containers as mulch, you can collect them and place them out to dry in the sun, maybe put them on top of a tarp, and then you can reuse them. Coconut coir usually does not harbor pests or diseases, and I've used it over and over again before, and over time they do break down because it is an organic matter and a source of carbon. So again, just make sure you're using enough compost or worm castings if you decide to use them or use it as a potting medium. At least 25 to 30% worm castings or compost. Well, I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next video. You guys have a nice day, and remember, start healing those potatoes if you haven't started yet, and keep those potatoes covered. Happy gardening!